Yo everyone, Sanju Uchiha here. Welcome to the channel. And Boruto Manga chapter 39 has finally dropped. So yeah. So welcome to the live reaction slash review of it. Of course, I put out my review for the latest episode of Boruto not too long ago, probably a few hours ago, based on based on the time this video is gonna go up. So yeah. Rate, comment, subscribe. Let's get into the live reading and we'll get into the review segment soon. So yeah, let's just dive right in. Okay, Lord 7th. Hey, what happened, Kawaki? Where's Lord 7th? Master Ina was saying that anime attack. Did Lord 7 go off somewhere with them? So again, no, there's not even a sliver of a chance of that. And let's say just to show up this minimal chances of winning. Nevertheless, considering that Jigen hasn't come back for Kawaki, maybe he can't. He expended too much chakra, so he went back to the base instead. See? Even in my expectation, my first expectations for this chapter, I said it as well. It would make sense for Jigen to actually go back to the base. And even Kashin Koji is speculating that, so I wasn't too far off. It's not completely impossible, in which case this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Alright, so that's your chapter. Yeah. Yo, so welcome back everyone. Welcome to the review segment for Boruto Manga chapter 39. Honestly, it feels like we've been waiting forever since for this chapter to actually drop. So yeah, Sanju Uchiha here. Rate, comment, subscribe. Be sure to leave a comment. Let's have a discussion about the chapter. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Or without further ado, yeah, be sure to, of course, spoilers. If you haven't read the chapter, or if you're an anime only watcher, spoilers will exist throughout the video. So yeah, so Boruto Manga chapter 39. First impressions just coming off the chapter. As you can see, I just finished the whole live read. Wasn't the most not the spiciest reaction, I know, but for the most part I thought it was a decent chapter. It is, while it's not as, how should I say, exciting as the last, or jaw-dropping as the last chapter, what this chapter really and truly helped to do was progress the plot, and that's always a good thing, especially since Boruto the manga is a monthly series. So making the best use of pushing the plot forward is the best thing. And with the anime, even though it's doing the boyhood arc right now, the faster the manga moves, the better it is for the anime, because you'll have more material to adapt and fill in the gaps, so we get less filler in the long run, quote unquote, even though technically there's no filler, but yeah, quote unquote. But yeah, back to chapter 39. For the most part, as we saw, this chapter continues of where last chapter left off. With Kawaki, we focus more so on the Konoha side of things, where we have characters like Kawaki, Boruto, Sarada, Shikamaru. We start off the chapter where Sarada and Boruto arrive at the house, and they're questioning what's happened to Naruto. Where is he? Of course, Kawaki fills everybody in on what actually happens, but as he's doing this, Shikamaru comes in, stops him, and of course, Shikamaru being Shikamaru, the logical character that he is, who even before this chapter, we pretty much picked up that he hasn't been the most trusting person. Well, he doesn't trust Kawaki for the most part. So that was on full display for this chapter. And what I liked is that, in some cases, the main characters, X and Y persons, when they don't trust another character, maybe the main character might be able to convince them. But Shikamaru kind of held steadfast in terms of his role as the advisor. So when Naruto's not around, all responsibility and decision making really falls to him, and I really like that for his character in this chapter. That was good. That aside, I'm not gonna lie, Kawaki has to be one of the better characters for the new generation, well, for obvious reasons. The idea of him killing Naruto in the future or stealing him away aside, and all the interest that was sparked because of episode 1 and chapter 1, he's really and truly growing. I've said it month to month, but Kawaki, in terms of his character development and his growth, it's great. And in terms of how he reacted to Shikamaru not trusting him and the decisions he made were pretty good in this chapter. I like that part. He didn't like overreact. It was more so Boruto trying to convince Shikamaru that, yo, Kawaki can be trusted. He protected Naruto, Himawari, he fixed the V's. But of course, as I said, Shikamaru held fast. But at the same time, Shikamaru wasn't unreasonable. He's just placing Kawaki under house arrest for this chapter. So there's that. Now, as we go along, the characters made the deduction that, okay, based on Kawaki's story, Naruto's in the next dimension with Jigen, but if it's a case where he was just dropping him off, he should be back already. So they made the deduction that, yeah, Naruto's either still fighting him or something along those lines. And of course, similar to as I was saying in my whole reaction, that Kashin Koji comes to the same, well, he comes to the same conclusion or speculation that I had during my whole Boruto Manga chapter 39 expectations video, where I was saying that it's either based on the state of Jigen or Ishiki Otsutsuki's current body, it would make sense for him to either come to Konoha and give Kawaki an ultimatum, or he would more than likely go back to the base. And that's what we got in this chapter, where we got just a little bit of breadcrumbs more where the Kara members are concerned, where we find out, one, of course, Jigen is seemingly out of chakra pushed to his body, and it seems that, well, I mean, this is only natural. All the Kara members seem to have some goal or something they want to achieve, and Jigen promises that all of that is going to happen. And while we did get the cliche thing for the Otsutsuki at this point, that, you know, of course they want to drain the planet of chakra, I mean, that's to be expected. But, and Sasuke did say it in the last chapter as well, but, and as I say, it's expected. But the good part is there's something beyond that, because if it was just that alone, it's like, yeah, that would be kind of boring. So it's good that we have something beyond just that, and we get some interesting some very interesting revelations, well, from Jigen. We get a panel of Jigen basically saying that, yo, you know, Kawaki is progressing at a much faster rate than, you know, he expected, and it seems like it's the same thing for Boruto more than likely. And he says that they'll probably like develop or mature or ripen into fine Otsutsuki. So that seems to be a hint more into the ultimate fate of the Karma Seal. Now we for the most part, we've already concluded or speculated that, okay, with the whole Karma Seal, it seems to be like a new generation Jinchuriki system kind of set up, where the Otsutsuki members can kind of seal themselves within select members, are the members that receive the karma mark, and more than likely they'll be able to return one day, or the hosts, are in this case Boruto and Kawaki, can tap into the Otsutsuki's power. So that seems to be the case. It's a very interesting setup, or it's very reminiscent of being a Jinchuriki back in the whole Naruto Shippuden days for the most part. So that was cool to know. And as I said, just seeing that the Kara members, they seem to have, especially this scientist, Amado, got the name wrong. Yeah, he does seem like he has a goal specifically. So as we go along, I'm hoping, or we're more likely going to get more on the scientist that's present at the Kara base. So there's that. Kashin Koji, yes. So Kashin Koji, another expectation that was fulfilled in this chapter. We got him, and it seems like we got full confirmation that yes, Kashin Koji is not necessarily on the side of Kara at all. He's going to be the third, I guess the third faction or third force in this whole conflict between Kara, Konoha, and him per se. Now, I was kind of expecting him to approach the members of Konoha like Shikamaru, but that didn't happen. So yeah, so apparently he's going off back to the base to finish Jigen, quote unquote. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. I definitely love it. It's setting up much more conflict and progressing the plot even more. So there was that as well. What am I missing? So of course, eventually we get the fact that, well, we know Naruto wasn't dead, but the characters didn't know until later in this chapter, where we see the scientific ninja tool arm that was given to Kawaki, which links him to Naruto via Naruto's chakra, starts lighting up again. So the characters eventually do get confirmation that Naruto's alive. So as we go along, Kawaki figures out that whatever Jigen can do, he can do as well. So by resonating his karma mark with Boruto's karma mark, they eventually create a space-time ninjutsu technique, or basically a portal to the dimension where Naruto and Sasuke actually fought Jigen, and they basically hop out of there for the most part. But it's at the end of the chapter where we see Boro, another inner member of Kara, guarding the urn, the teapot or kettle where Naruto is sealed in, and Kawaki apparently says he's even worse news than Jigen. So yeah, that's where the chapter ends. Now, as I said, while the chapter wasn't necessarily as exciting as, say, the last 2 chapters for me, seeing Naruto and Sasuke in action, it's still not a negative against the chapter. This chapter definitely progressed the plot way, well, in the right direction at least. We got the right setups for future conflicts to come, and I'm wondering what's gonna happen now, because if Boro is quote-unquote worse news than Jigen, well, probably it might not be in the sense of him being more powerful, but probably the lens he'll go to. Unlike before, where Jigen just came in and it's like, I'm not gonna like kill anybody or destroy anything, I just want Kawaki. Probably Boro might be a kind of character that might not be as strong as Jigen, but probably would kind of go ahead to probably kill Boruto and everybody else except Kawaki. So probably that's where it's stemming from. So the next thing too is what I like about this chapter and what it's set up is the fact that Mitsuki and Sarada are now involved. They're in, well, center stage in the conflict. So we know for the most part Mitsuki and Sarada haven't had much panel time. They've had panel time, but they haven't been the center of it all. It's been carried, the stories for the most part has been carried by like Boruto, Kawaki, Naruto, Sasuke. So with Sarada and Mitsuki now involved, they're slowly expanding the roster of characters that we'll see get development and be involved in the conflict for a much more dynamic story, if you get what I mean. So that's definitely another plus for the chapter. So yeah, yeah, what more can I say? It was definitely a good chapter. Advanced the plot, set up future conflict, involve more characters for a more dynamic story going forward. In terms of characterization, like characters like Shikamaru and Kawaki, based on the experiences they've had up to this point, it made sense in terms of the decision making and how they reacted and how they spoke to each other in the chapter. So there was definitely that. So I'm definitely looking forward to chapter 40, and as I said, a lot of persons would speculate that the time skip is near. I would agree, but I still feel like a number of things still need to happen before a quote-unquote time skip. I'd go to say probably about chapter 45 or probably around chapter 50 would be the best time to like do a time skip per se. So yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, so anyway, let me know what you guys thought about Boruto Manga chapter 39. I know we didn't even get Sasuke as I expected as well, so there's definitely that, but I am expecting to see Sasuke again for the next chapter. Probably Sakura brings him to Ino or to the site where Shikamaru is. So yeah, all in all, I thought it was a pretty decent chapter. Boruto month to month continues to impress me. It really and truly does remind me of like Naruto at the height of its glory days, if you get what I mean. So yeah, it's Andrew Chia here. Hope everyone's having a great Sunday. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Journey to 1,000. And drop a comment. Let's just discuss the chapter. Let's have a discussion. Let me know what you guys think. See you guys in the next one.